Oh yeah, what's going on, man?
How's it going?
How you doing?
Good, good, man. How are you?
I'm doing very well. End of July here. It's July 30th. I wanted to celebrate you hitting 10K this month. I think it happened very early in the month, but still wanted to circle with you now and just share your journey. I think a lot of people would find value from just your story and background. And I would love to maybe, first of all, congratulations.
Thanks.
Would love to maybe wind back the clock to when you first made this decision and walk us through the decision-making criteria it was for you to get into something like this.
Yeah, it's a great question. So I think I've always been interested in sort of quote unquote boring businesses. And I was following folks on Twitter that were like in the space, like storage units, things like that. So, I was always interested in it. There was a tangential interest to it, but it was always something at the back of my mind. I stumbled on this, thought, this is really interesting. And so started doing some research, stayed up a couple of nights just thinking through this. And, I spoke to a few folks from here and yeah, one thing led to another, and I couldn't believe I was already starting into it.
Cool. And I know your background isn't really boring business adjacent. Like you kind of do something polar opposite. Like you're a software engineer basically.
Yeah.
What made you want to even think this is a good direction or lean into this?
Yeah, so that's a good question. Yeah, my background's in tech. Like I've never no sales background, no business chops whatsoever, just very, very tech focused. And so for me, this was kind of complete shift. I was interested in it, and mostly because everybody's going one way in tech, and I was interested in sort of this other sort of direction. Like what's happening here? You know what I mean? Like I see a lot of people here in I think HVAC businesses, all these sorts of service businesses that are still making money, and I wanted to sort of like go against the current a little bit, especially in my little bubble of tech. So that was an interesting sort of like taking a little bit of a contrarian view on that a little bit. So
Okay.
yeah.
Cool. And then John, I don't know the exact timeline, but do you happen to know like how many days it took you to get to 10K off the top of your head, or generally speaking?
7 days. Yeah. 70 days.
70 days.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
I would love to maybe learn from you a couple things. I know it seemed like you're always giving me positive updates and progress. I know that's not always the case. So 2 things I want to know from you. Number 1, what was the most challenging thing about your journey to 10K? And then number 2, did you have some sort of a breakthrough moment when it was like, oh, this is very possible. Like I can see how this is going to work. And, the growth is just there.
Yeah, I think definitely low moments were around sort of the logistics of stuff that I was just not simply used to, like the hiring aspects of things and just like getting used to the whole like the system implementation. Like I think from an abstract perspective, I get it, but like when you have to implement it and be very cautious about the steps involved there, it's very easy to miss a few steps. And that's every single time I got hurt. I'm like, I got to go back to school and look back at what I missed, So just making sure I was really rigorous there and making sure I was following the protocol there. All my lows were when I missed on the protocol.
Okay.
So that's probably the biggest takeaway is just follow the protocol. Don't overthink it. I overthink everything. And so this is the biggest benefit for me was being able to just say, okay, here's the blueprint. Here's how I have to execute. And Michael's here to help me out with this every step of the way. And being able to just have you as a sounding board for all of my anxiety-driven moments at 3 a.m. where I'm just thinking, how the heck is this going to happen? And being able to just ping you about it and having you just walk me through it was just huge in terms of growth. And I think really early on, I just realized that by going through the GCP, like the protocol here, I was like leaps and bounds ahead of the people in my local market. And that was really evident to me. And the growth opportunities were just really prevalent first month in, just getting that going and just realizing, wow, this can really go somewhere meaningful. So
cool. Yeah. I think I noticed that just from your side. I think you're really good about just taking action in general. So good job on staying committed to that. I know you mentioned the process and the growth cleaning protocol part, but for you, what was most valuable thing in your opinion about the program, or what did you find most value in?
Yeah, I think for me, the most valuable parts are just sort of like, I know this week I need to cover this part of the business, like slicing it up into sort of those modules, like 1 to 3, 4 to 6. I know my focus area over the next couple of weeks are this section here. I don't need to overthink it. I can just take my brain out, all my overthinking, anxiety-driven self, move that out of the way, follow the protocol, focus on this specific aspect, watch the videos, just keep drilling that, you know what I mean, and being able to just review that. So that for me was probably the biggest benefit there, just that blueprint, having everything in place, and just No analysis paralysis, really.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then in terms of like how you're viewing the business looking forward, obviously you have the remaining year, I'd say half a year left, or maybe last quarter of it. How do you view like 2025? And then, how do you view even maybe next year in terms of like where you're at with the business today, where you want to go with it, and potentially any life implication changes that might even, result in?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think for me, still working full time. I've got a little kid at home as well, so things are very busy. And I think that's also just the crazy part about this is that it's still possible with all of this in place. Like it's just unimaginable. But anyway, to your point, like we're closing July now, about 12K in revenue. Things are looking pretty good. I think I can continue to scale that up. In terms of where this can go, I think just, like how much do I want to keep putting into this? And I think I will continue to push on this. I'd love to see maybe spinning up another market or acquiring somewhere else as well, another business in the area as well. Definitely continuing to pull on this. I would love to see myself being able to have this as being my primary source of income, just moving away from tech in general and having this as sort of a space where I want to navigate in full time.
Very cool. Awesome. I love to hear that.
Yeah.
The part that really stood out to me, and I'm curious now, I'm going to ask you a question. You're like, you want to acquire a business. Obviously, that's a whole different beast in it of its own, right? It's a moving vehicle, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel like what you learned today might inform you about, walking into an adjacent home service business?
Yeah, I don't want to toot your horn too much, but I think it's just like the systems that we have in place here are just absent in a lot of the competitors in my local market. And I think that being able to just analyze what they're doing, how their revenue looks like, all of the sorts of things there, and just being able to inject GCP protocol right in there will really I think there's just so much potential there, right? So that's sort of an area I want to entertain as soon as this continues to grow, and I can use the revenue here to sort of supplement that. And so basically just a systems-driven approach across all of these areas and seeing what I can inject into this. Obviously, I've never done it before, so it's going to be a learning experience all the way. But I think going through this and being able to do this day to day, I do feel like there's a level of preparation already up front for some of this.
Sweet. That's music to my ears. I'm not going to say your local area, but you are not based in the U.S. We'll just say that.
Yeah, I'm out here in Canada.
You're out here in Canada. We won't say any more details, but it's good to hear. That's good to hear. Okay, so last question for you, Fahia. If someone's on the fence about doing something like this, what would you tell them in their spot, knowing what you don't now?
Chat with Michael, chat with other folks. Man, ping me, guys. Like, hit me up. I'm happy to chat. There's nothing about it that's not like exactly on the tin. Everything is there, and it's totally feasible. It's totally realistic. I was where you are a couple months ago, like just crapping my pants a little bit, thinking how am I going to be doing this? And now I'm over here. And so, yeah, I think plunging into it once you feel like you understand what's required there. And yeah.
Okay, man. Well, good job. Congratulations, Fahia. I know that you're going to, obviously progress much further than this, but it is a good celebration milestone moment, and proud of the work you've been putting in.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. And it's a testament to you and the GCP protocol as well. So appreciate it.
I appreciate that as well. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
See ya.
See ya.